This podcast contains discussions of mature themes, including violence, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Please proceed with caution. Listener discretion is advised.
You cold-blooded bastard. I'll tell you what I think of it. I live to see you eat that contract. But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine! Ah!
Welcome everybody to Dark Talk. I'm your host Dan, and I'm joined by Paul and James. How are you guys? Great, yeah.
I was waiting for you to say "do it," and I was just like,
very well, thank you.
Good. Thank you for answering, James.
Yeah, I'm very well as well.
But I don't care about you. Here we are, the final episode of Dealer's Choice. How are you guys? Are you guys excited for this one?
I am, actually, because I think this is going to be just you two. Have you seen it before, Paul?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be you two telling loads of jokes and knowing it together and stuff like that. Whereas it was the first time viewing for me, so.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And I didn't know it was a Stephen King story.
Yeah, we'll get into all that, but let's talk about how you're doing. What have you been up to? James, you've missed a couple of episodes because you've been on a top secret shoe-related mission to the United States.
I have. I went to Texas recently. My friend managed to get some cheap flights from London to Houston. So yeah, we flew out for a week, and then we landed in Houston, drove to Austin. Spent a couple of nights there. Amazing city. And then we went back to Houston for a few nights, which was pretty sketchy, pretty scary.
Why?
Don't know, just get that feeling. Got that feeling. And also, when we were there, we kind of realised the greater Houston area is bigger than Wales. So we were like, the stuff's a bit spread out, but yeah,
Jesus,
it was. We still had some good time there. But yeah, Austin, amazing. But didn't see any cowboys or anything like that.
Tell the people of the famous horror landmark you visited.
I went to the house from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which has now been moved from the shooting location, I think. So. But because it's one of those American houses, they literally packed it down, moved it to a place called Kingsland, which is about an hour away from Austin. So went there, visited that, and the staff are amazing, and we're going to go back next year. Yeah, it was right next to a hotel that they owned, which is the lady said it was haunted as well. So she was like, "Oh, you got a guy staying?" And I was like, "God, if we didn't have plans, I could just sit here and just drink beers all day and just chat to you." They were so sound. But yeah, it was so good. They've got all the memorabilia up and everything.
It's haunted by the ghost of Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, that Renee was the one of the barmaid's names. But yeah, it was so good. And filled with all sorts of memorabilia and stuff like that. And then you go upstairs as soon as you get in. And when you get to the top, there's the dead bodies of the skeletons of I think they're there in the film, aren't they? When she goes upstairs, when Leatherface is chasing her and she runs up. And she's jumps out the window. I haven't seen that film in so long. But yeah, amazing. Staff there are nice. So we're going to go back next year because we're going to go to America. So
can I come with you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I can get the tickets for you, but you're more than welcome to join. It was so good. But yeah, just the whole landscape and everything was exactly as what you think it was. And then we went to a bar, and I don't want to say where the bar is because it had no photos on Google Maps, and it had 2 reviews, and it was in the middle of nowhere. And we went there thinking, oh, come on, let's go to this dive bar. Let's see what it's like, And it was exactly what you think it was. It was fucking ace. It was so good. Walked in.
Bar.
Yeah, it was walked in, and there was just a load of blokes sat around the table. And this bar was in basically complete darkness because it was so sunny outside. They just have it all closed off because of the heat, I think. But yeah, I just went in there, got chatting to some of the proper old Texas blokes who'd retired and lived there and stuff like that. And at one point we were talking to this one guy and we were like, "Oh, so what have you done?" He's like, "Oh, I've been basically manual labour his whole life. I've laid pipe works and stuff like that all over Texas." He must be about late 60s, 70s, this bloke, and he sat there And my mate's like, oh, James is a photographer. And I'm like, oh, my God, why has he said that now? So I started showing this bloke some photos that I'd taken, and he was just like, and? He was basically like, well, I bet you got to make your living some way, I guess. I was just like thinking what must be going through his head, this like hardened worker who's like worked in all conditions all his life, and then this like British pods comes in. It's like, I take pictures for a living. Yeah. But no, it was amazing. It was so good. Best trip.
Sick. Sounds so
what have you guys been up to?
Well, I've also been travelling. Last episode we mentioned to Paul that I was scared to catch my flight to Marrakesh, Morocco. Flew safely, landed safely. Nothing to worry about. Plane ride was smooth as anything. It was a mere 3 hours compared to your transatlantic journey. Yeah, great trip. Rode a camel. Rode a quad bike through the desert. Yeah, all kinds of cool shit.
Sounds like a Bond montage.
Paul, where have you flown to in the past week?
I have stayed in sunny Old Wales, but I'm going to Croatia next month, so that should be nice. It's funny, I've never been to Croatia, and I thought it was a shithole, and then I saw pictures of it, and I was like, oh wow, it looks pretty amazing actually. I thought it was just like landlocked, kind of like built up city kind of thing, because it's next to Serbia, and anything near Serbia I associate with a Serbian film, which is just grim. So I thought it was good. I thought it was a shithole, film, but it's yeah. But yeah, that's where we're heading next month. But I've not been there, so I've been here.
So no filming a Croatian film while you're out there?
Oh, no thank you.
Did I ever tell you about a Serbian film? I went and bought it on... I bought that and 2 other films on Blu-ray. I was thinking, oh yeah, I'll just go and treat myself one day. I've been paid or whatever. And obviously this is a while ago and I didn't really have much money. I went to HMV and paid for him. He was like, oh, that's £60, please.
60.
For 3 films.
Yeah, so quickly just run through... Got a lot to get through for this film, so we'll move it on sharpish. But one thing that I wanted to talk about was a film that I watched last week. I know you've both seen it. Is Sinners. What did you guys think? Spoiler free, but yeah, what did you guys think of Sinners?
What did I think of it? I loved bits of it and stuff like that. The hype was not... I was expecting like a lot better. I get like all the good stuff about it and stuff and what people are saying and what it represents and stuff, which is great. But
I think it was a decent enough film before the vampires turned up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I did like Jack O'Connell in the role as the main vampire, but then the film just seemed to be rushed. The last sort of third, the last act, it just rushed through it, and before I knew it, I looked up and the film was like ending. I thought, wow, that was a bit hurried, but otherwise, yeah, I loved it.
I actually thought the ending went on a bit too much.
Really?
To be honest, yeah, because
I see what I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know it had this sort of extended 15 minutes at the end, didn't it? Yeah,
it showed 3 characters were doing after the events of the film.
Yeah,
and I was a bit like looking at my watch a bit, but I absolutely loved it. I did. Usually, if it was a musical, I would have hated it, because if people don't have a reason for breaking out into song and they're doing it and it's sort of in the universe, then I want to kill myself. But in this, I really liked. I like blues, so I thought the guy, the preacher boy, he was really good, and his voice was phenomenal, and his guitar playing was good.
This was his first role.
I didn't know that, but I guessed. I've never seen him in anything before, so I guessed that it was quite an early role for him.
I looked him up as I was watching the film, and yeah, it's his first role. What a job!
Oh god, yeah, he's amazing. Do you know what? I loved his speaking voice as well. He had like such a cool... Sounded like someone like Wu-Tang Clan or something. He had a really cool speaking voice. And I felt like it was a bit of an homage From Dusk Till Dawn as well.
Oh, definitely. The whole thing was like a prequel to Dusk Till Dawn. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought the makeup effects looked really good on the vampires. I thought Jack O'Connell with the long fingers and the red eyes were really good. Yeah,
I really like an understated vampire. Buffy vampires are a bit over the top.
Yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn ones were, but they suit that universe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like an understated, just the fangs vampire. Yeah. Maybe the eyes as well.
The Dusk Till Dawn vampires aren't even vampires, really. They're just these mutants. Like that bit where Tom Savini's character, Sex Machine, dies, and this giant rat just like comes out of his back. Do you remember?
Yeah. It's like if Konami made a vampire story, Resident Evil vampires or something like that.
Yeah.
This isn't a spoiler because it doesn't actually happen in the film, but the ending scene with the character sitting at the bar, I just imagined the doors open and Seth Gecko walking in and ordering a drink at the bar just to show that it was the same universe.
It wasn't, like, show that it was a prequel.
Like, same universe type.
I know, I remember, like, when I was watching it sat in the cinema, I was, like, looking at Izzy, I was like, this is exactly like a film that I know. And she was like, oh, she was like, what one? I was like, I can't tell you.
Have you not sat down with Izzy and watched From Dusk Till Dawn?
It's coming, the time is coming.
God, I'd love to sit down with someone who hasn't seen that for the first time.
Yeah.
I did last year with Karis.
How did she
She'd
take
never
that one?
seen it before, so... Well, when it happened, I was just sitting there like, so say, you're her. I was like this. I wasn't watching the TV, I was just like waiting for her reaction. But she's a massive Salma Hayek fan, so I think she was just more into Salma dancing, and I was just
so
like...
I showed Izzy, like, the scene of, like, Salma Hayek dancing, and she was like, I really want to watch that. Like, it doesn't matter what it's about or anything. She was like, yeah, we should watch that. So
she's...
that will be
You've got
happening.
to secretly try and film her face when she sees Salma Hayek turn into this lizard vampire woman. In like a single take, single shot.
I would love there to be a subreddit of people reacting to that for the first time, unknowingly reacting to that for the first time.
Yeah.
People filming their friends and girlfriends, boyfriends and whatnot.
Well, it's
I would be on
it's
that
nearly
sub every
30.
day.
It's nearly 30 years old now, so there's an entire generation of people that haven't seen it. So yeah, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool.
That's
I
next on
can't
the
wait
list
for the
to
day that we
watch
cover
together.
that film and the sequels.
Hell yeah! I've never seen the sequels.
They're fucking terrible.
I watched the second one last year, I think, because it was on Now TV.
It's okay. The sequels are okay for a bit of schlocky background. Just they're never going to equal the first film, which is one of my favourite films of all time. So,
Well, it won our thing.
our little
film
tournament.
tournament,
Our film tournament, yeah. Do you remember those?
They were really fun.
Yeah, they were awesome.
What won the horror tournament? Was it 28 Days Later?
28 days later.
20 days later.
Yeah, God, there,
Yeah.
there were some really good films in that final four. I think, was it 28 Days Later, Alien, Hellraiser, and I can't remember the fourth one now.
Terminator.
Was it The Terminator?
Terminator.
Yeah.
Terminator, yeah.
And The Thing.
I think
Thing was in there as well.
if to redo it now, I wonder if, because I've listened to like a lot more film podcasts since we did that, I wonder if my answers would be different, because I'm listening to one about Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the moment, and I'm like, fuck me, it's so good.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Dark Talkers. Let's talk dark. Gents, we're here tonight to discuss The Running Man, released in 1987, directed by Paul Michael Glesser, and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Maria Conchita Alonso, Yaphet Kotto, Richard Dawson, and Jesse the Body Ventura. So, James, this was a first watch for you?
Yes,
It
indeed.
also starred Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he's fucking shit in this film, so I didn't want to give him the fucking... Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that whole fucking rebel resistance plot, but yeah, Mick Fleetwood making a cameo. Well, it's not a cameo, is it? It's got a significant part of the story, so... Paul, tell me when you first saw this film. I think you're going to be like me. Let's hear it.
I probably saw this when I was about 8, I'd say. Maybe younger, maybe a bit older. And I'm pretty sure we had it on VHS, but like taped off the telly.
Oh, yeah.
Because I specifically remember there being a label on the bottom. Or like not like a label on the bottom with like handwritten The Running Man on it.
Yeah.
And I can remember the writing and everything now. But I also had it on VHS as well, like a bought version, like a proper version.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it earlier on. I was thinking about the front cover, and I was thinking about, like the plastic on the front of an old video where you could feel it, and it just it was amazing. And like an empty box, it was just so chunky and like hollow. It was so good.
Feeling the weight of it in your hands. Yeah.
Yeah, like a fucking
idiot. And like you'd get those certain VHSs that for some reason like the box was just like extra thick and massive. but like the videotape was the same size.
Do you remember? So if you had like a VHS collection, you had like the original box art.
Yeah.
I remember like you could buy those horrible maroon cases to store them in so your collection looked all uniform. Do you remember those? Our Nan had loads.
I know. I was just about to say.
Like maroon cases with like gold piping down the side. It's just really tacky looking. Meant to look classy.
Oh, I'm gonna look for a photo
to make it look like
right
you had your own exclusive library of VHSs.
It always reminded me of like, I don't know why, but like, in like Resident Evil where you go into the library and you like pull a book back or something. Which
open your VHS case and there's an eagle medal inside. So you can get back into your house.
Do you remember...
What would you call them? I'm trying to find an image of one.
Do you remember having WWF tapes and the top was blue?
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. Do you remember a couple of times when we were younger, we'd be at yours and we'd find like an old WWF tape and it would be like SummerSlam 1992 and we'd be like, yes, oh my god, stick it on, and we'd open it and inside was Hulk Hogan's greatest match.
Every time we opened a different box, it always had. I must have had about 12 copies of it.
Yeah, actually, no, it's funny now you mention it because when I went to watch The Running Man online, I pressed play and Hulk Hogan's greatest match is played. Yeah, so I think you're like me, Paul.
So
I don't remember a time that I haven't seen this film. It's just something I've watched ever since. It's in my DNA. So this is
it's part of your complete memory.
This is one of the big four. So the big four Arnie sci-fi 80s films. So you've got...
Can I guess them?
Go on.
I thought you were going to say big four that you like.
So no. Just these are the big four.
Right.
So
okay, yeah. So
go on, guess.
Got Running Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got Running Man. Predator.
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah. What's the fourth?
Total Recall.
Yeah.
What did that come out? Was that the 80s though? Total Recall.
I think so. It might be the very early 90s. Oh, 1990. Yeah. For all intents and purposes, it's the 80s.
Yeah. It would have been made in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So they're the big Arnie 4 from the 80s, the big Arnie sci-fi 4, and I've seen all four of those films countless times, and yeah, they're pretty great.
Yeah. Can we cover Total Recall at some point, because that film is lodged in my mind as one of the best films ever made.
Yeah, definitely. That Colin Farrell is just amazing in it.
Is that the remake?
Lens flares and everything. Love it.
Apparently, that Total
Dutch
Recall
camera
remake
angles.
is quite good. I've never seen the remake.
What year was that?
2005, 2006.
2012.
Yeah, it was later than that.
Oh, was it?
It'd be it's basically, it looks just like Minority Report, but it's just a shitter version of the original. It's not an easy watch. It's quite a blag to watch for me anyway. So all the lens flares and the stylistic camera angles and shit, it just doesn't do it for me.
Who directs it?
That guy.
The guy who does Underworld and all that.
Oh yeah, Underworld. Yeah, right. So
fucking hell, there's loads.
Let's get into The Running Man. So the film opens up with, and I love when films open up like this, with the scroll text intro. Explaining how the world has gone completely to shit in the past 30, 40 years. Economic collapse, no food, no oil, no natural resources. We live in a cyberpunk future, paramilitary zones, police states, all art and music, communication has been censored. Just like what the alt-right want for today, really. No fun for anyone. But
yeah, I was literally reading this thinking,
this is the future.
Who was it that tried to stop?
The future the left wants.
Who was it? The Prime Minister that was like, yeah, people need to stop doing art and music and everything. They just need to do like thingy jobs.
Some fucker.
This might be wrong, but like one of the posters or campaigns that they used for it was like shot by like a really well-known photographer, and it used like loads of acters, and it was designed by like somebody who was like, what?
the irony division.
Anyway.
Yeah, no drill music.
Yeah.
I think these 80s sci-fi text intros, they're a bit hacky, but they make me feel good watching them. And I felt cozy and comfy.
I love it.
Yeah,
I fucking love it. It's like Sega Mega Drive font. It's so good.
That's what I've got. That's what I've got written in my notes. It's like opening titles look like I was fired up the Mega Drive. Because also you got the actual before the text actually starts, you've got the text. The title text, The Running Man, which is all like pixelated and like 8-bit, which probably, you do that now, it's obviously like vintage, but it was probably
yeah.
But then you've got those running blokes, it's so good.
Right, so we meet Arnie. He plays Ben Richards, a musclehead helicopter pilot who is on a recon mission over a food riot in Bakersfield, and he is ordered by his superiors to open fire on the unarmed crowd. So naturally, because he's Arnie, he says, "No, I'm not. I tell you, I won't do it." And he gets into a fight with the crew of his own helicopter, who knock him out and arrest him. The crew of the chopper then fire upon the crowd in what comes to be known as the Bakersfield Massacre, and Richards becomes infamous as the Butcher of Bakersfield, a crime he did not commit. Bit of trivia for you. The lieutenant sat in the cockpit next to Arnie, Ben Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me who the actor is? I don't think you're going to get it. But
I thought I'd recognise him, but maybe I'll never get this.
Paul, it's not Don Cheadle.
We can only dream. Is he from Predator?
No, I don't think so. But that is George P. Wilbur, Michael Myers.
No.
Yeah.
Damn, if only they had a shot of his shoes, I would have got it right.
Or if they did stuffed his overalls full of pillows to make him look like
hockey players.
Yeah.
Damn, is it really?
I didn't know at the time. It's only when I went back and was writing my notes and just checking out the IMDb castles. Yeah, he plays the lieutenant. Yeah, George P. Wilbur.
No way.
Okay, so we fast forward 18 months, and Richards has been imprisoned in this Nine Inch Nails music video industrial slave factory. There's like a sonic fence keeping all the prisoners in, and there is an escape attempt when Richards and his two friends, Lachlan and Weiss, played by some guy called Marvin J. McIntyre, and the great Yaphet Kotto. They fake a fight, swarm the guards, and we get our first Arnie the one-liner when he gorilla press slams a guard off the balcony. Give you a lift? I fucking love this.
There's a lot of one-liners in this film. That's great.
Yeah, so there's a massive shootout between the guards and the prisoners. Weiss, the nerdy hacker, because he wears glasses, he hacks into the sonic defense system which surrounds the camp, and he attempts to disable it so their battle royale explosive neck collars won't detonate. So this is part of the reason I chose this film, because I know it's not a horror film, but it is very, very violent and gory. There's like a lot of blood and guts and just gross shit happening in this film.
Yeah, what's the guy's name when he's running off? And they're like, no, we haven't turned off the thingy barrier, and it cut Chico. And it cuts to this one shot, this wide shot. I think it's just before his head blows off, and he's like,
yeah.
And
do you recognise Chico from anything?
Predator.
No, I don't think I even saw his face.
I see him in quite a few things, but one thing I do remember him from is he's in Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World. He plays Peter Stormare's character. He's friends with him, and when the camp gets attacked by a T-Rex and he gets trodden on by a T-Rex.
I can't remember that film.
I don't know that film.
Is it good?
No,
sucked.
It's not good.
Is it
it's
bad?
not bad, but if you compare it to the first one, there's a massive drop in quality.
Yeah.
The third one's not too bad, though.
The third one is a guilty pleasure, so I'm sure we'll be covering it when you do your dealer's choice next, Paul.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Chico, R.I.P. Chico, we hardly knew you. His head explodes, and if he'd waited 30 seconds longer, he would have lived. But the rest of the camp managed to escape. And Richards is taken by Lachlan and Weiss to cyberpunk, Blade Runner, LA, futuristic, just gloom and doom. I really, really like the way LA look. It is LA, isn't it? I assume it's LA. I'm going to assume it's LA because it's the entertainment capital. Whatever the city, it's
California, isn't it? Because Bakersfield's California.
Yeah, and they're trying to escape. He wants to go to Mexico, doesn't he? Richards wants to meet with his brother and escape the city and go to Mexico. And so Lachlan and Weiss take him to meet the Resistance, which is led by Mick Fleetwood, and they offer Richards a place in the Resistance, but he considers them an absolute joke. They're like, we're not sure we can trust this guy, and he's like, I haven't seen anything. You're just a bunch of jobbers, yeah. Also,
he's got that big fat cigar
and that World's Gym t-shirt. He just looks like he looks fucking great. I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Doesn't he look good with a beard though as well?
Yeah.
I've got that written down. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever seen him with a beard. I think
it looks fucking great with a beard.
It looked pretty. I don't know if it was real, but it looked pretty real.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Running Man TV show in the in-universe. So does anyone want to explain what the Running Man is in this film?
Okay, I will.
Go on then.
It is a TV show for convicts.
Yeah.
Who get sentenced to go on that as their punishment. And in it, they get sent into an underground city where they get chased by, what are they called in this?
Stalkers.
Stalkers, that's the one. Who are all very wrestler type people, wrestler gladiator type people.
Yeah, they're like Metal Gear Solid bosses, aren't they? They've all got a different gimmick.
Yeah. They're basically wrestlers, and the idea for this film, they were taken from wrestling, pretty much, I reckon.
Yeah.
And they have to run away from the stalkers and survive. Which is almost impossible.
Yeah, so and if the runners escape and win the game, they get their sentences either commuted or they're pardoned, and they win like a holiday to Maui for what is it? Is it Whitman, Price, and her dad, last season's winners? So they never specify what the win conditions are for the runners. If they got to get to a certain area, they never specify how the runners actually win.
It's because none of them do.
Yeah, none of them do. Yeah, you're right.
It's
hosted by Damon Killian, played by Richard Dawson. I've got it written down here. He's a sleazy dystopian hybrid of Bruce Forsyth and Eric Bischoff. Just this absolute scumfuck TV executive, just chasing ratings. Just fucking played expertly. She's so good in this film.
Yeah.
And Richard Dawson, he was handpicked by Arnie for this film.
Yeah.
As they were close friends. In real life, they're still friends. Apparently, I don't know if he's still alive, but I know Arnie. Anyway, because he was an actual game show host.
Yeah, he
hosted Love Boat and whatever else he did. Way before my time, obviously, but so he used his actual hosting skills to play this character. But obviously, I couldn't believe how well he acted the role. It was so good.
Yeah, it was so
dislikable. So dislikable. So the ratings for The Running Man in the universe, they have plateaued. Not dropped, plateaued. And because in the mental made-up world of TV ratings and the stock market, and anything that is not growth is seen as stagnation, and the show is basically failing, even though it's doing as well as it ever done. And Killian is pissed off that his show is not doing as well as he feels it should be. So, straight off the bat, to show what a petty, vindictive bastard he is, when he's walking to work, this elderly janitor nearly spills a bucket of water on him while mopping the floor. And Killian's like, hey, listen, don't worry, Dan. Everything's cool and good. But then when he gets in the lift, the scene, he's like, if that guy's working here tomorrow, you're going to be mopping the floors. It's like, what a dick.
I was going to say, I assume this might be part of Paul's trivia, but the establishment shot of that building, where is that? It might be a miniature, but then I thought it would be a miniature, but it pans down. It's actually got people outside. It's such a weird looking building. I don't know if you know that, Paul. Is that going to be in your trivia later?
Oh, it might be. You'll have to wait and find out.
He's like you, James. He hasn't actually done it yet. He just reads off the IMDb page as we are recording live. like you read off the Wikipedia page for films that were released in 1987.
No, I haven't got that tab open right now.
He hasn't even got that far yet, Dan. I actually did. I looked up the trivia the other day, so fuck you.
So Killian wants new stars for The Running Man. He wants new Running Man contestants, and he keeps getting suggestions about this Christian serial killer, these bank robbers that are in a suicide pact, and he's just they're not good enough. But as they're scanning through all the mug shots on the computer, with all these different it's like fucking RoboCop, all these random characters. Yeah. There is one that made me laugh. I had to pause it and rewind. There's a child. There's a baby called Babyface March. This literal toddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a touch of the old Starship Troopers humour as well.
There's a lot of RoboCop humour in this film, which I'll mention with one later on, which made me I was pissing myself laughing at the thought of it. But here we go. Actually, there is some RoboCop humour coming up now. So Killian sees footage of Arnie escaping the prison camp, and he is running in slow motion like he's on a shampoo advert. It's just when when Homer sees the naked chick riding the clam for the first time, and the Angels music comes up. It's like, ah! He's like, and Killian's like, that meme of Vince McMahon when he falls out the chair with the face there. He just sees these muscles, and he's like, "I get me that man right now."
Yeah,
but it made me laugh because he phones up. He gets on the phone and he goes, "Get me the Justice Department, the Entertainment Division." And then he's like, "No, actually, scratch that." He's like, "Get me the President." He's like, "Scratch that. Get me the President's agents." President's agents. I thought it was so funny. So funny.
Fucking.
Do you two know the differences between the book and the film? Would you like to talk about it at all? 'Cause I know some of it.
Not especially, no. I did download the audiobook to listen to before this podcast, but I never got around to it. It's quite short. It's a short story from Stephen King when he was writing as Richard Bachman. So it was only 7 hours to listen to, but I couldn't find the time to listen to it. We can talk about it a bit at the end, but should we just stick to the film for now? Unless there's anything you can say that's pertinent to the film.
I can drop things in.
Yeah.
So all I was going to say was, since we were talking about the show and how it works, was in the book, it's not like people don't get sentenced and that's their punishment to go on that. Yeah. In the book, it's by choice. Mm. So they go on that to earn money, basically, and that's what Ben Richards does in the book.
Right, okay.
He joins because his family are poor and he needs really, really money.
Okay. So it's like, what's that Black Mirror episode? Is it 15 million credits? Is it that? Similar to that?
Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember. Was that the one with
Daniel Kaluuya?
Who's in that? Yes. Yeah.
Really good episode, that.
Yeah. So Richards arrives at what he thinks is his brother's apartment, but the decor and the women's underwear strewn around the floor, somehow don't manage to clue him in that he doesn't live there anymore. He's like, Benjamin? What's his brother's name?
Yeah. Well, this is right. So I'm a bit confused because I swear he says that, right?
He calls out to his brother. I don't know what name he uses.
I swear he said Benjamin because I've got. Actually, no. I'll just mention it later. But I swear he says that, and I was like, his brother's called Ben, and then later on realised his name's Ben.
Yeah.
How clever I am.
So we get
I'm going to look it up right now.
We get our first appearance of Jesse the Body Ventura in the movie as Captain Freedom, a retired Running Man stalker who has been demoted to interviewer, and he's now releasing his own range of women's fitness videos. I love Jesse Ventura in these videos. He's like, push it, yeah! And he's like backing up, like flexing his muscles, like all kinds of like stupid looking positions. It's great.
Proper sign of the times, right? Not that I was alive in the 80s, but, it's exactly what I think of when I think of the 80s.
This is where we meet Amber, the female protagonist of the film. She arrives at the apartment that she was given after Richard's brother was taken away for, is it re-education? It's implied that he's been disappeared by the States because of who his brother is. She begins her Captain Freedom workout, and what is her workout gear? She's wearing like sexy bedtime and summer's negligee. Like I was like, who works out dressed like this?
Oi, it's her fault. She can wear what she wants.
So Richards reveals himself, holds her hostage, and he explains that he needs help from her because he's a wanted felon and she has a travel pass and he doesn't. So to get out of the country, Richards, the most wanted man in the state, has decided to disguise himself. The ingenious disguise of a loud Hawaiian shirt, a fedora and sunglasses to sneak through passport control. How inconspicuous does he think that he looks? Like he's a 6'2" muscular giant dressed like that, and he's causing a scene as well at the trying to get through the control. He's like, honey, you've lost your pass again. Everyone's like, come on, man, move it on.
Oh, he has to do that though, doesn't he, to get through because he's only got one pass.
That fucking border guard is fooled by this ingenious disguise. Like they're supposed to be on like high alert for this giant, and he's like, oh, go on, just go through, get through.
Maybe he's the in-universe son of the border guard from Home Alone 2.
The woman.
Yes.
Maybe. I was going to say before that, when he's in Amber's apartment, and he's like, yes, right, come on, we're going to decide to go. And then on the TV, it's like, and now, climbing for dollars.
That's what I was going to say, like, fucking...
it's like a Simpsons sketch, and it's so good. And it's just this guy trying to climb this rope with these like dogs that are going to kill him, and he's like,
you've got to climb this rope in the middle of a room and grab as many dollars as you can hanging off it while this pack of hungry dogs at the bottom is barking. And at the end, like he falls off and he's like, and it freeze frames before he lands in like certain death.
I would much rather watch that than The Running Man. If that was the
fucking RoboCop ass TV show.
So fucking good.
In the book, one of the games is called something like "Run for Your Life." Basically, people with heart conditions have to run on a treadmill. to earn money. And the more money they earn, the harder it gets.
Fucking hell. I can imagine that though, because you imagine like if this happened, you'd have like the biggest TV show with like the game that everybody watches and stuff, and then you'd have all these like lower budget, like Channel 5 being like, well, what can we do to get the same
what kind
sort
of
of
horrendous
viewings?
shit can we put out on TV?
Yeah, climbing for dollars.
Okay,
Love Island.
Love Island.
Yeah. Love Island, but the game shows you got to bring people in to sit and watch it.
Torture. Yeah, so Richards is taken to Running Man HQ and he meets Killian, who offers him a place as a runner on the show. And while Killian's doing this, his aide, that blonde female, she cannot stop eye fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. She's like, her tongue is hanging out. She's like, undressing him with her eyes.
Yeah. We got a glimpse at Buzzsaw before this.
We'll talk about Buzzsaw when he arrives, when he makes his full entrance. But yeah, but no, go on. Actually, there's Buzzsaw's coming into the arena. Yeah, this guy's like, "Hey, Buzzsaw, I love you." Buzzsaw just decks him. He breaks his nose. He's like, "Oh my god, Buzzsaw, touch me!"
Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. So,
but so you're
Killian offers Richards a place on the show, and Richards tells Killian to go fuck himself, basically, leading to Killian blackmailing Richards into going on the Running Man in place of Laughlin. I've got Hoffman written down here. Laughlin and Wise, who have also been captured. So Arnie agrees to go on the show, and he gets his court-appointed theatrical agents. And he signs the contract, and he just stabs him in the back, and he's like, "Ah!" Fucking love this. I loved it.
I just want to go back to when Amber and her mate are in the corridor, and he walks past, and she's like, I swear this is the only turning point where she's like, "Oh, maybe he's a good guy," because she's like, "Oh, he could have killed you with his bare hands. He could have raped you. He could have killed you, then raped you." And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, he didn't. He must be a good guy then." No, it's just like, that's the defining thing.
Well, we'll get into Amber in a sec. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about it now. She sees like a... we'll talk about Amber in a sec. Okay, so we get... it's the night or the day of the airing of the Running Man. I love the way this looks. They build it up to be like this huge event. You know, like when you go to like a wrestling show and there's like thousands of people all queuing up and dead hyped up to go in, and it's like they just make it seem like this huge deal. It's really great. This is where we get obviously Buzzsaw punches that dude in the face.
Did you notice how many really well dressed old women there were watching this, and in the crowd, and even in the entrance where they start start the event off? There's even like a woman in a big hat, like leaning down.
I didn't notice that.
Gobbing off at them,
along with all the mad,
like a flowery hat.
Next to all the Mad Max bikers, like
yeah. Oh, just to let you know, while we're for a moment, it was Edward, his brother's name.
Edward, that's it. Yeah, Edward.
Oh, Edward.
Right. So the show starts, and Killian brings out Richards, and he's like salivating about how good Richards is going to be in this game. They play a deep fake doctored video of Richards shooting up the Bakersfield crowd, and Killian instantly betrays his deal with Richards and adds Laughlin and Weiss to the game anyway. This made me laugh. They're literally wearing red shirts. Like, fucking, they couldn't be any more jobberish. So they get launched into the game arena on some fucking psychotic Cool Runnings bobsled from hell, which is my idea of hell, is going on that fucking thing. Like, it's just... It looks
my note for that is that's how I get to work.
I'd love to have a go at that.
It's so fast. It's so good.
Do you know what all I could think though at the time when that bit was on was like, how far are they going? Because they're going so fast and it lasts for so long. It was like 2 minutes in and I was just like, they're still fucking on in this tube flying. Yeah. And the only thing that saves them at the end is like a small net.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I think it's
I was very, very Simpsons.
Like a tennis net.
I think it's implied that the arena itself is a few miles away from the building, from the...
right. Are they like up in the high rise?
Sort of like war zone area, aren't they? Which we'll get... Where the Resistance also live, which we'll get into later, because that's fucking stupid. I was face palming at that point.
It's meant to be an abandoned city.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Right.
just remembered something as well. So this is just before the show really starts.
Yeah.
And they show the promo video on the screen for the audience, and probably for the audience at home as well. And it shows the footage of Ben in the helicopter. It's the edited,
the deep fake
news footage, and I just could not stop smiling at the fact that they used the footage from the opening scene. It's like just the same footage. And I love
there's
that.
not like
So
not even any attempt to make it look like
like it was
CCTV
security
or
footage
anything.
like that,
Yeah.
It was great.
It's like they had a
So
cameraman
funny.
inside the chopper.
Yeah, literally. And it's just like
all the
it's not even shot like a documentary either. It's literally like a shot.
they just
You
spliced
know what I mean?
in
Like if it was just one take and it was like,
they-
yeah,
They decided
literally.
to just play the Running Man VHS in the film.
Yeah, I know that. It was fucking amusing.
good.
This is my favourite part of the film, this bit now, this sort of middle section. So this is where we meet the stalkers, and I fucking love this. We get our first stalker, and he is Professor Sub-Zero, a gigantic Asian hockey player, played by pro wrestler Professor Tanaka, who was a former tag team champ with Mr. Fuji back in the day, Paul. So there you go.
I didn't know that.
Yep. And Sub-Zero, his fucking weaponry is amazing. He has got a gigantic fucking scythe for a hockey stick. He's got explosive grenade pucks. And he's got his own ice rink lair of death, which Richards and his crew are herded towards by the Mad Max bikers. And I fucking love this set piece. This underground hockey rink just looks fucking so good. It's like something like Freddy would come up with in one of his dreams. It just looks like really dank and
Oh yeah, in the later films. Yeah.
mental.
Did you know there were like 6 or so directors involved in this film?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so apparently the first director, I can't remember who he was, but he directed this part of the film.
Right. Okay.
And apparently he went well over budget. He spent something like $5 million in the first 2 weeks. And they were like, on what? And and his work, all the Sub-Zero parts were kept in from his work.
Yeah, because it looks
Right, so that
fucking
made
badass.
me think, how good is the Sub-Zero thing? This is why when I was a kid, Sub-Zero was my favourite of the Stalkers, right?
Yeah.
But like, how much is that like his own Mortal Kombat like level compared to the others? We were just like, we just turn up. Like I imagine if the original director had made it, and Arnie was apparently gutted that they got rid of him in the end. But I imagine if the original director had stayed, all of the Stalkers would have had their own personalised level.
Yeah, definitely.
And they would have been way more intricate and less sort of like, here's a tag team that don't actually tag team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell
I believe that's
yeah, you can tell.
That's
Now
got
you've
it.
said it, I can see that they blew the entire budget on this one. This one, but fucking, it's amazing though. I love it. I'm glad that they did this. If they're going to spend it on any one of the Stalkers, I'm glad it was Sub-Zero because he's got the most. He's the biggest gimmick out of the bunch, I think. Yeah, so we get a really big fight scene where Sub-Zero kicks ass, and my favourite moment is the bit where he scores a goal using Weiss, throws him into the goal cage. Yeah. So Sub-Zero's he's battering them all, and then Richards is able to use his brains. He tears down a piece of barbed wire from the top of the cage, and he manages to use Sub-Zero's own momentum against him and tricks him. And Sub-Zero, he doesn't just garrote him; like Sub-Zero twirls into that barbed wire like a pirouette.
This made me cringe watching it.
It's like wrapped around his throat about 3 times, and Schwarzenegger just yanks it, and fucking this is one of the deaths I remember as a kid thinking, oh god, that was like really violent. Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, it's horrible. Even now,
We get our Arnie one-liner, which just does not make any sense. Hey Gillian, here's Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
I didn't understand that. It's not just me.
No, it doesn't make sense. Like it's just he's just saying that he's a loser. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, we'll go back to Amber now. So Amber sees the footage of Richards being captured at the airport on TV, which claims that he murdered 2 people while trying to escape, and she realises that it is a lie. This is where she starts to question authority. She goes looking through the Running Man HQ archives for the raw footage of the Bakersfield massacre that was filmed by that cameraman inside the chopper. she goes looking for the Running Man VHS tape, and
which
don't forget you would have had a cameraman and a boom operator,
and a director as well.
The VHS tape which they store at that studio for some with the name on it.
It's like Bakersfield Massacre, the actual raw footage truth.
Can you imagine if she opened the drawer and it was in those VHS boxes that Nine had?
I'm looking for the real
velvet
footage
ones.
of the Bakersfield Massacre. Yes, it's over there in the exonerating department.
Do you know what though?
Oh fuck!
I haven't seen this film for a bit. Why was she even there? Like at the TV studio?
She works.
I think
did
she
she
worked
write
there,
the
did she?
jingle for the station? I'm sure she mentions earlier.
She said she's a musician, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, she said she was a musician. But...
Yes, she works for the station. She wrote the jingle for the Running Man, I think, is what it is. Yeah.
Oh.
So Amber gets captured, and she gets portrayed as a Richards co-conspirator, and she gets put in the game herself. Now, I thought this was really funny when they're trying to discredit a character as they're leading her to the Cool Runnings bobsled of death. They put her in there, and the narrator is like, sometimes she had relations with 1, 2, even 3 men in a year. I love it. So we get introduced to our next 2 stalkers now. The guy who's trying to choose, he can't choose between Buzzsaw and Dynamo. So Killian says, well, why don't you have them both, Buzzsaw and Dynamo? And I'm going to say Buzzsaw looks fucking insane. Like, he looks fucking bonkers when they introduce him.
I think
He looks like he's having a seizure. His eyes are just wild, and he's just swinging this chainsaw around.
The camera starts at his feet, and it slowly pans up, right? And he's got like a shadow on his face, and then the shadow ooze, and he's like clearly straight in his face. You know, like that meme of that lad who's like in the class.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, as the camera slowly pans up, he's been holding that. He's like bursting blood vessels. He's standing there just like.
I just imagine behind the scenes and action. And hold it, pan up.
I think the literal mountain of cocaine he probably snorted before filming helped. In comparison, Dynamo looks fucking ridiculous in this. His costume is fucking
oh my god, fuck
like he's wearing like a Roman helmet, and he's got circuit board armor, and he shoots Emperor Force lightning, and he looks fucking
awful.
He's so dumb.
And he's also an opera singer.
I actually quite liked that.
Yeah,
because that could have been like kind of freaky or whatever, but the way he was dressed.
So our second fight splits the group. So Buzzsaw stays with Richards and Laughlin, while Dynamo chases Weiss and Amber in his shitty-looking Cybertruck. That go-kart is fucking pathetic looking. Just so yeah, Arnie and Buzzsaw have their one-on-one, and Buzzsaw's like riding up and down, swinging the chainsaw. He manages to get a mortal wound on Laughlin, which causes him to expire later on in the film. So sad to say goodbye to Yaphet Kotto. I think he was pretty underused in this film. Fucking love the man. Love him.
Yeah.
So during the fight, Richards gets dragged around on the back of Buzzsaw's bike. Like, it's like he's being lynched. Yeah, so Richards is being dragged around by Buzzsaw on his bike, but Richards is able to anchor himself, and he flips Buzzsaw off the... Richards goes over to check Buzzsaw and goes to reach over to grab the chainsaw, but Buzzsaw is still alive. And then they brawl and chainsaw wrestle. And it's the slow... Buzzsaw brings the chainsaw down slowly. And he's like, I'm going to make this saw part of you. And Arnie's like, no, that's okay. You can keep it. Throws the chainsaw down and brings the chainsaw up through Buzzsaw's crotch and pulverizes his dick and makes him sing soprano. He's like, oh! And, that's Richards. He's just killed the Running Man world champion. I think Buzzsaw was the champion. Is the best stalker that they've got, I think.
Yeah, but what is
since
what is he the
Jesse...
champion of? Like,
I think he's got the most kills. I think he's I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So no one gets past him normally, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it doesn't work like that, does it? Because they choose whoever they... Anyway,
I imagine if you get a stalker and you escape their arena, their sort of area, they can't go after you, and then another stalker would come in. So I guess it's very vague. Yeah. The game rules are very vague. It doesn't matter what they are.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we get fucking Dynamo, who... This is the stupid side plot now. So Weiss has figured out that the network uplink satellite is now in the game zone because it's the last place that the rebels would have looked for it. Which I thought, that kind of makes sense. But it doesn't make sense later on when the rebels have also got their base in the arena, which is just fucking dumb as shit anyway.
Yeah.
I've got it written down here about 5 times. Dynamo looks fucking stupid in that costume. He just looks like such a dumbass.
It's awful, isn't it?
So Dynamo blasts Weiss with the Force lightning, kills him. He chases Richards and Amber around to Ride of the Valkyries and crashes his Cybertruck. And he's upside down and he's like, Cart, go to commercial, Cart, don't hurt me, please. Yeah. And Richards proves that he's not a bloodthirsty killer when he refuses to murder Dynamite in cold blood, which confuses the audience. And it also, and I love this bit, it prompts Agnes, this 90-something-year-old woman who is the #1 Running Man fan in the world, to choose Ben Richards to make the next kill. When Killian asks her, he's like, who do you think's going to make the next kill? And she's like, I think the next kill will be made by Ben Richards. And he's like, whoa, Agnes, you gotta choose a stalker. And she's like, I can choose anyone I want. And I choose Ben Richards. That boy's one mean motherfucker.
So after that bit, obviously throughout the film we've been cutting back and to these street bookmakers,
the bookies,
taking all sorts of bets. And every time it cut back to them, I was like, fuck, it was stressing me out. I was like, how the fuck are they keeping track of who's
that's what I was thinking.
Who's won what? I was like, how would you do it? And then he's like giving it all that on the stage, and his mate's like writing on chalk in the background.
You just see like Sub-Zero with like 4-1, and he's crossed out.
Yeah.
The bookies must have lost an absolute fucking fortune because because nobody was betting on Richards to kill Sub-Zero, so everyone would have been betting on Sub-Zero to win.
Yeah, and Buzzsaw
as well. But then
so they lost money then, and then they bet on Ben Richards to win, and then they lose that money as well.
Well, no, because the people that were betting would have lost because they'd have all bet on Sub-Zero, but then the bookies wouldn't have kept it because all bets would have been off because Sub-Zero died, and I don't think they would have... Oh, do you know what? It doesn't matter. Who cares?
At the end of the film, I don't know if you were paying attention, but the 2 guys on the stage just launched the money into the air.
I missed that, actually.
Yeah. Just the crowd are just cheering like
that's pretty cool.
Like a crowd in a attitude game or something. Just like that. And you just see the one guy just launch. He's wearing a cowboy hat. And he just launches all the money in the air, and it just flops everywhere.
So we meet stalker number 4, who is my favourite stalker, Fireball. Who is I've written this down, I hope I can... he's a jetpack flying, flamethrower wielding, Reed Richards haircut wearing, dynamite dying son of a gun. Yeah, so Fireball is basically...
before, as he's like coming on, everyone's like, yeah, Fireball. There's like, it cuts to like this old man, and he's like, he's my hero. And I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder if that guy, like, mates with the director, he's like, oh, can I be in your film? And he's like, yeah, sure, I've got a little part for you.
Fireball's
I don't know.
So Fireball is the last of the stalkers, and during this point, he's chasing Richards and Amber comes into the room and she finds the corpses of Whitman, Price, and Haddad, who were last season's winners, and they're meant to be in, like, Maui, but she's like, last season's winners, and Fireball's standing over, he's like, last season's losers. Yeah. Which, again, I really like this fight though because Richards is trying to beat Fireball, and he just picks up these gigantic barrels of fuel and just launches them at him, and it just causes this huge explosion, and then you just see Fireball walking through with his flamethrower and his jetpack. It's fucking really great effects. Love that. They saved a bit of the budget.
That was really good. He starts Donkey Kong launching those barrels.
Donkey Kong.
But then when he walks through, he was like the T-1000 coming through the flames.
Yeah.
And he had his like head down as well. I was like, oh, that shot was fucking
badass
sick.
shot.
So good.
Badass shot.
Yeah, it's great.
So he confronts Amber in this small room, and he's about to kill her, about to blast her with the flamethrower, and then from behind Fireball, Richards descends from the ceiling like Michael Myers, resurrection style. And he disables Fireball's gas line and then trips him up, throws him in the corner, and Fireball's like panicking because the gas on his jetpack and flamethrower is like spraying everywhere. And Arnie lights his ass up with a flare or a stick of dynamite and just launches it in, and we get this fucking huge explosion. Fireball dies in a fireball. How ironic.
Done. Finito. I did like the bit where he was like, "Why can't I fly? Why can't I fly?"
Just a panic. Yeah, thought it was really good. So this bit made me laugh now. So Killian tries to get Jesse Ventura, Captain Freedom, to come out of retirement and go back in the game. It's like Captain Freedom to wardrobe, Captain Freedom to wardrobe, and throughout the whole film, Captain Freedom he's been like I said, he's been demoted to interviewer. So everything that he says, every time he's trying to talk, Killian just keeps cutting off. He's like, "Thanks, Cap. We don't want to hear any more from you old fuck." And this bit just makes me laugh. So we go to the control room, and Captain Freedom storms in, and they've dressed him up in this ridiculous looking robot costume, and he just refuses to dress like a twat, so they fire him. But he's
so bad. Like, I know, like, Dynamo looks bad, but, like, this looks like... obviously it's meant to look awful, but it's fucking crap me up so much.
And, so Captain Freedom gets fired. So instead of having an actual fight between Captain Freedom and Arnie, they deepfake some footage of a fight between two stuntmen, and they digitally impose Arnie and Ventura's faces over them. I thought this fight was really fucking badass. Like, even though it's, in the show, it's a deepfake. Sorry, in the film, it's a deepfake. But yeah, it looks really fucking good. They're fighting in this, like, Mortal Kombat lair with, like, an entire wall of conveniently placed wall spikes.
Yeah,
like,
true.
It's like a bunch of them. I was like,
yes.
I had to lie back and have a cigarette after I saw this. I was like, whoa.
I was like, I'm not sure if I was, like, writing notes or something on my laptop at this point, but I saw the bit where they were like, "Oh, yeah, that'll work. We'll put a deepfake on or whatever." And then, for some reason, it just, like, didn't register in my brain. And then, like, when they were fighting and he kills Amber, I was like, oh! I was like, so... I legitimately thought they just killed her off. I was like, fuck, that's, like, so bold for them to do that.
It's a very, like, brutal, nonchalant death. Like, he just breaks her neck and, like, just launches her into this pile of barbed wire.
Yeah, that's why I was like, fucking hell, it's, like, worse than, like, Game of Thrones, but yeah.
Yeah. So then they have this really great fight, really like brutal looking, like punch up, and like Ventura's bleeding, and he's like, "Rah!" And he tackles Arnie into a wall of spikes, literally spears him into that, and he's dead. And for a bit of added extra villainy, they sort of, when they sort of de-digitize Arnie's face from the stuntman, they've actually killed the stuntman. And like, I know. It's like, Jesus Christ, Damien, you didn't really have to kill him, And he's like, "Them's the breaks, kid. You want to work in the entertainment industry?" Fucking hell, all right. So we'll sort of get into like the vinegar strokes of the film now. Back in the arena, somehow Mick Fleetwood has been living in the arena with his rebel group, which makes absolutely no sense, and because apparently it's the last place that anyone will look for them. Okay. I fucking hate this rebel beat part. It's my least favourite part of the film. It's a shame that the last sort of 20 minutes focus on just this. Like,
is it different in the book, Paul, where they live?
I don't remember. I don't think the rebels are in it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think this is just like a thing.
Yeah. I'll tell you about what happens at the end of the book when we get to the at the end of the film.
Okay.
Yeah. So Arnie decides to lead the rebel assault on Running Man HQ. I didn't like that they took him out of his uniform for this and dress him up as generic action hero
Arnie costume.
Yeah. They storm the building. They all go their separate ways. We get the return of Dynamo, who was taken out of the game because he's crap.
Fuck me.
And he bumps into Amber, and she calls him a dickless moron with a battery up his ass, which made me think of Elon Musk. He tries to rape her, and it's a pretty like horrible looking rape scene. Now, when I was younger, I never understood this. I thought he was just fighting her, but then when the camera cuts away, he's got no pants on. He's
got no pants.
He's just wearing these white tighty whiteys.
So another when I saw this, I was like, "Fuck!" Has he been wearing this throughout the whole film? And we've just not seen like a wide, like a full shot of him, but
driving around out of that car with no pants
Do we
on.
ever see like a big wide shot of it?
Yeah, you do when he's singing opera, yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what he looks like. He looks a bit like Rhino, doesn't he, from Spider-Man outfit sort of vibes.
Yeah. I mean, he's fucking gigantic. He's huge, especially compared to her. Amber blasts the sprinkler system with a machine gun, and it sets off the sprinkler, sets off the water, and it electrocutes Dynamo and kills him because of the fucking very, very serious design flaw in his armor. Like, what if it rained? Like, this is just the crappiest armor. Like, do you know what? I'll wear this, but like anyone could throw like a small cup of liquid on me and I'll be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dynamo sucks. Yeah, so we're pretty much at the end of the film now. So the rebels storm the capital, basically. They hack the feed. They play the real footage of the Bakersfield massacre, which exonerates Richards.
Which, I gotta say, like, obviously, like, going through this film with you two has made me, like, laugh more at it and appreciate it a bit more. But the fucking dialogue in that helicopter scene is the worst fucking... It's so bad.
Not fire on open civilians.
Like, yeah, I will. It's like, yes, oh god, it's so fucking awful. It's funny though. It's really funny to watch back now, but god, it's like so bad.
Killian's left alone with Arnie in the games room, pleading for his life until his gigantic security guard Sven turns up, who I was certain it was Kane Hodder.
This is where I got confused now.
Confused by what?
Right, so his name's Sven, right? So you know earlier on I said, I thought his brother was called Ben.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I've got one of my notes is, Ben's his brother. I knew it. I thought that was his brother. and then I was thinking about it. It's like, why didn't he say anything? So yeah, I actually legitimately thought that's why his brother. That's why he walked off. But, yeah.
He's like, he goes off to get some steroids or something, I think he says, doesn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
He abandons Killian.
Earlier on, he tells him to go and get some steroids, doesn't he?
Yeah. He goes, what's the matter? Steroids make you deaf? Get out of here! When he's trying to remove... Captain Freedom.
Also, throughout the film, it cuts twice. Well, twice that I saw to like a guy in the audience clapping. It looks exactly like John Lithgow. It cuts. It like makes a point of cutting back to him. I don't know if maybe it's not him.
No.
I don't know.
So Sven has abandoned Killian to Richards' the mercy of Ben Richards, of which Richards has none. Killian pleads his life and he explains his scumbag philosophy of chasing TV ratings, but no dice. Richards puts Killian in the bobsled of death, and he fires him at fucking terminal velocity straight through a billboard all the way to fucking heaven. Because he's like, it's fucking so good.
This amused me so much because I was like, he's going to go down and like get a taste of his own medicine, but he just blows up.
And he goes straight through a picture of himself as well, holding a can of Coke. Yeah.
What's the one-liner Arnie gives there?
You bastard! Drop dead! I don't do requests.
Very, very 80s action film, cheesy ending here when Amber and Richards meet up and we get a cheesy good guy ending music and they kiss and walk off to the cheers of the crowd and the end.
So the ending of the book, throughout the story, I'm not sure if he's called Ben Richards, but I'm just going to say that anyway. Ben, so instead of being trapped in like a city where you've got to escape, you're allowed to go anywhere. It's almost like, Hunted, the TV show.
Yeah.
On Channel 4.
Yeah.
You're allowed to go anywhere, but the only rule is you have to do a daily video diary and send it to them every single day so that they can kind of know where you are.
Give them clues.
That's the only thing that's going to give them a clue, yeah. So throughout it, he's been spreading propaganda while doing his videos. He's been talking about politics and trying to show the people what the government like and all that kind of stuff, which make the fans of the TV show start liking him, supporting him.
Yeah.
So at the end, he's doing this for his son, I believe it's his son, and his wife, who are obviously skint. His wife's a prostitute because they've got no money, and he's on an aeroplane at one point. I think he's taken an aeroplane by force and they're flying, and he learns that his wife and his kid are dead. So he thinks, well, the only reason I was doing it was for them anyway. So he turns the plane around and suicide dives the bomb into the studio building, killing Killian and himself in the process. And that's the end of the end of the book.
So not as upbeat as the film ending, then?
No, it's the book's much darker now, isn't it? So
I'm gonna say it's like so different to the
right. Yeah. We're on a recast, But before we do this recast, Paul, you were going to tell us something about the fact that they are actually remaking this film and it's due out this year.
Yes, they are. It's being made by Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Not Edgar Allan Poe, which my brain was telling me to say. And it is going to be true to the source material.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be basically the book version.
Right. So it's more an adaptation of the book rather than a remake of this film.
Yeah. Right. Yes, that's correct, Dan. I'm much more excited to
fucking newsreader. Yes, that's correct, Dan. Yes.
I'm much more excited to see whatever becomes of that. Oh, also in the book, citizens were encouraged to phone in the studio if they'd seen the person that they're chasing, and they get $500 for phoning in or something like that if it can be proved.
Oh no!
And then they get $1,000 if they get killed because of that phone call.
Yeah.
So
right, let's get on to our recast then. So who wants to go first? Who did you recast Ben Richards as? Either of you?
I'll go first. Right, because I chose this person when I first found out that we were doing this film, and we were talking about him in the chat the other day, and I said something like, I didn't know how to word it, so I said something like, remember this conversation, or something like that, and you two probably thought I was being weird. So, it might make sense now. My choice for Ben is Michael B. Jordan.
Ah, you fucker, he was one of mine as well.
He was gonna be one of mine as well, but I changed it.
This was before I saw Sinners as well.
Yeah.
So watching that the other day confirmed it. He's so good.
He was so good play. He's like a leading man now, and it would be great for him.
Yeah,
He's
awesome.
I had Michael B. Jordan, and I just changed my mind because I want to save him for something else. So I just went with. I thought Robert Pattinson would be pretty good in the lead because I fucking love Robert Pattinson.
Ah, nice.
You used to be a big fan of Twilight, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, I love it.
Mm.
Team Edward.
Oh,
James, who did you have for Richards?
So I actually switched the sexes, and I would have a female role.
Ooh, the running woman.
Yeah, running lass. Yeah. I had Leia Seydoux.
Oh, yeah, shit. That'd be fucking sweet. She's awesome.
Because that would be amazing, watching her run around do that.
It would. So would you switch all the stalkers to females as well?
Well, we'll get to my stalkers in a minute.
Yeah, very good. Paul, who did you have for Amber?
She's pretty good. For Amber, I had Ana de Armas.
Nice, yeah.
She is. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I think she could reach the sassiness of the character, and
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
James, who did you have as your male Amber? Or female Amber?
Or female. Or non-binary.
No, or female Amber. I actually went with a male Amber, and I chose Mark Ruffalo because... Have you guys seen Poor Things?
No. Yeah.
You're not seeing it. It's fucking nice. I think it would be good to have. Yeah, it'd be good to have him in the running lass, but as this but not as because Amber in the film she's like quite strong and tough. I'd want Mark Ruffalo's character to be like this weak, pathetic man. Like he has a kind of in Poor Things and trying to following her around, being like, oh, where should we go? What should we do? So. Watch Poor Things, Dan.
So maybe not even a love interest, just like this coward who comes good.
Yeah. So just I tell you what, he doesn't even know Leia Seydoux. He just chucked in there, and they'd be like, "Go on, bonus round."
Bonus round, this guy.
Yeah. So he'd just because I think Mark Ruffalo could play it so fucking well.
Right, let's get on to the good ones. Let's get on to... let's do Killian first. Let's do Killian. Paul, who did you have for Killian? I've got a sneaky feeling we all might have the same person here, but go on.
You've definitely not got who I've got.
Go on.
Because I don't even know why I picked him, but I couldn't get him out of my head for this one. And I've got another one as well, but I'll explain that one after. So I have gone for Piers Morgan.
Yeah.
Because he is a prick, right? Yeah. Just get him to play himself. And then we can see him die at the end.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to have to see it. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, he is exactly that sort of person.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying.
My other one as well, you mentioned him earlier, and I was going to use the time travel element, but I'm going to give up on that from now on, because I'm the only person who ever used it.
No, I'm using the time travel element this time.
No, I'm into it.
Oh, okay.
I'm using it for this recast, but yeah. Well,
All right, so my time travel guy would have been Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, yeah.
Oh shit, that's such a good fucking shout.
From 1999.
Nice. Very nice.
James, who did you have?
So I've gone for somebody where this could be like, you might think, oh, this could be an Easter egg. Is it part of a different universe? I went for Michael Smiley.
Oh, yeah, well
Black
done.
Mirror.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, is it?
Very
Yeah.
good. Very
Nice.
good. I chose this actor is probably part of the reason I chose this film, because I was thinking about this film and I thought, how good would he be in this role? And that's the whole reason we've done an episode on it. Really, is
Yeah.
I can just imagine him saying, "And who loves you? And who do you love?" Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
I just think he's born to play that role.
months ago you were talking about doing this film, and you said when you were drunk, I think, it was all because you wanted to recast somebody.
Yeah, I think this is what it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Right, let's
Nice.
get into the good ones. Let's Paul, who have you got for Sub-Zero?
Sub-Zero, I have got Hiroyuki Sanada.
Oh shit, yeah, fucking hell,
Yeah.
yeah. From the new Mortal Kombat as well.
Yeah, he's in
fucking everything, isn't he? He's sick.
He's in Shogun as well, which I haven't actually watched yet.
I remember him from Lost.
Ring, yeah, Lost, Wolverine,
Yeah.
everything. I never knew his
So,
name.
is he...
How good is he in Mortal Kombat, though?
James, who have you got?
Okay, so for my stalkers, I've gone with a different sort of look. So for Sub-Zero, I've got Anne Hegarty. So that's... Do you know what I'm talking about? Because...
What? Who's this for? Sub-Zero?
She's from The Chase, the quiz show, and I'm thinking
governess.
futuristic. Yeah. So I'm thinking in the future, The Chase might be quite like, that. So I've gone that route with my recast to spice it up a bit.
Sean Wallace, the Dark Destroyer, is Fireball. Mark the Beast. Mark the Beast Lebret has got to be Dynamo.
Exactly. You got it in one. Yeah, you got
That
it.
is pretty cool.
I didn't actually cast anybody for Jesse Ventura.
You've used the Chasers.
But,
You should have used Bradley Walsh as your Killian.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Imagine him, like,
that was my second.
He's like,
I was going to say that after, but then I was like,
pissing his pants and that.
yeah. It's because one of my comments, I didn't say it whilst we were going through the film, but I was like, oh, it's when they're introducing the stalkers, it's like, when the chasers walk out of the thing. They're playing like the entrance music. Yeah. But yeah, so my other choice for Killian was Bradley Walsh, but then I was like, nah, Michael Smiley gives it that Black Mirror thing. But yeah. Yeah.
Would that make Buzzsaw Paul the Cinnamon?
Yeah.
Can't wait till we do our next film and you cast the eggheads.
What film would that be though? Oh.
Coneheads.
Hellraiser.
Yeah. Oh, fuck
I went back and forth on a few people for Sub-Zero. But I've just gone with Jason Momoa in the end. Just he's a big fucking dude. And I had Jason Momoa or Roman Reigns or Batista, just big burly dudes who could look really good playing.
Batista, yeah.
Paul, who did you have for Buzzsaw?
Buzzsaw, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. I've got the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Ah, the big fucking dude. Yeah, that's good. Good.
Nice.
I had.
I'm not going to try and pronounce his name.
I had Ryan Hurst.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a massive Ryan Hurst fan.
He's fucking awesome. And I could just see him.
Oh, shit, yeah.
See him riding around on a bike, just swinging a chainsaw wildly. And imagine if they make him act insane, like Buzzsaw, because he's fucking mad looking. Yeah, really cool fucking dude.
Nice.
Paul, who did you have for Dynamo?
For Dynamo, I've got Jack Black.
Jack Black.
That's a good shout, yeah. It depends on what type of mood you want to make the film, but if you make it the same mood,
yeah,
I guess it'd work.
You could add it,
because Dynamo's a fool anyway, isn't he? He's
yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
And I could see Jack Black doing the opera singing as well.
Yeah, exactly. In his car doing the singing. Just before we move on, though, I don't want to interrupt the flow.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say for Sub-Zero earlier on was I would actually have him in like a Grim Reaper costume, but still on the ice skates with his scythe as a hockey thing, and he would have like a Sub-Zero mask as well.
Yeah.
Would you have, in your film, Katana sneaking around and going, use the element that brings life to give ideas of how to kill it? Oh shit, he'd have been a fucking good thingy guy, wouldn't he? Guy who played Liu Kang.
Is it Robin Shue or Robin Liu?
But yeah.
For Dynamo, I had Dominic Lombardozzi. James, you know who he is, but just...
Lombardozzi. Oh, who's this? Oh, yeah, from The Wire.
Heard from The Wire.
Yeah.
Can you just see him wearing the outfit? Just like that crappy electric armour and that fucking helmet.
I'd just be like, what the fuck? Like,
ragging around Baltimore wearing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
nice.
Great for it.
Nice, very nice.
Paul, who have you got for Fireball?
I have got another person whose name I'm not going to destroy. I'm just going to use his most well-known fictional name, which is Simon Adebisi.
Ah, fuck it. I had Adwale as well. He was my choice for Fireball, I swear down. It was.
Triple A.
See, I can pronounce Adwale, but his surname I'm not going to try. Adebisi.
So I've actually invoked the time travel rule for this one for the first time ever. So I've done the same thing as you, James. I've switched it up. I've gone for a female Fireball. I've gone with 1980s Grace Jones.
Ooh.
How cool would she look in all the gear, like walking through the flames? Just
scary woman as well.
Yeah.
Fucking young.
Do you want to do Laughlin and Weiss next, the double act?
Wait, what? His mates. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything. Sorry.
Paul, who did you have?
So
just for Laughlin and Weiss, we gave ourselves the rule that we had to be a double act.
So for me, it's perfect because I'm a fan of the show that these two are on. I'll tell you their fictional names to start with. It's Troy and Abed from Community. I don't know if you've seen Community.
Yeah.
Which is,
I've not watched that.
Community's fucking nice.
Who are played by Daniel Pudi and Childish Gambino Donald Glover, who is fucking awesome anyway, you know. Like those two.
Nice.
Troy would be the the muscle, and Abed would be the nerd, because that's just kind of how they are in in Community. So I was really chuffed with that one.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
I just went for the first thing that popped into my head, and I didn't workshop it. I just sticked with them because I just couldn't be asked with the characters themselves. I just went for Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn.
Do you know what? That's funny. Cause
who was your Ben Richards again?
Robert Pattinson. them three together.
I was actually thinking about going for the Wilson brothers for mine.
I like your idea though, Paul. I like your idea of having the Donald Glover and Michael B. Jordan on screen together. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, nice.
And last, but certainly not least, who did you recast Captain Freedom, Jesse Ventura's role, with?
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
So
yeah. I'm just getting the list of chasers up.
That Irish guy who has the bolo tie.
He's the latest one, is he?
I think so, yeah. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I've not seen him, but it'll have to be the other one.
So,
but yeah.
For my Captain Freedom, initially I was going to choose wrestlers for a lot of the roles in this film.
Same.
However, me and Dan covered See No Evil, and it made me lose all hope and faith in wrestlers being actors, so I didn't. I didn't use wrestlers for most of the cast, but I have chosen a wrestler for this one. I think he'd be perfect. I've gone for Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
I've also chosen a wrestler. No, it's. I just think Captain Freedom.
Cody Rhodes, and imagine him wearing like his usual USA get-up.
Yeah.
He's got his, but he wears the suits while he's doing the interviews. He's got his like slick back blonde hair, being really smarmy. And then later on in the fights, he's wearing like his Codelander.
The thing with the Cody Rhodes, he's just so unlikable. Whereas Captain Freedom, Jesse Ventura is really cool. Anyway, I've gone for.
How is Cody unlikable in any way? I love Cody.
I mean, I love him as well, but he's anyway. That's a story for another time. I've also gone with the wrestler. Okay. I've chosen John Cena. What do you mean? Like Cena's like this retired former champion.
God. I just don't like John Cena. He sucks.
Fits the role better than Cody Rhodes does.
Really doesn't. We'll leave it up to the listeners, shall we?
Right, Paul, if I play the jingle now, will you give us some shit trivia of the week?
Absolutely.
Okay, take it away.
Play my jingle.
Yeah. This is just while he loads up the IMDb page.
And why wouldn't I? Where else am I going to get my trivia from? Okay, are you ready?
Go on.
Many people who worked with Richard Dawson on the game show Family Feud say that in real life, Dawson was more like his character Damon Killian in his handling of underlings.
Oh, right.
Where I can imagine that, yeah.
Yeah.
Most like celebrities are dicks, aren't they? So, when Rob Cohen purchased the rights to the Richard Bachman novel, The Running Man, he had no idea that Bachman was actually the pseudonym for Stephen King.
Nice. I like that.
The big dance number at the start of the film, at the start of the Running Man show, was choreographed by Paula Abdul.
Yes, I knew that.
When Arnie ran for governor, he rode around in a campaign bus and named it after this film, The Running Man.
Yeah, did he was governor of... Did he win?
Governor of California for years, yeah.
He was governor of California, yeah.
Do you know, earlier on in the film, when he said, "I'll be back," he should have said, "I'll be Backman." The film inspired TV's American Gladiators, as well as the plot and settings of the Williams arcade game Smash TV. Right, but then that got me thinking when I read that. I knew that anyway, but it got me thinking, if it wasn't for Stephen King, we wouldn't have Nick Aldis.
Is this the domino meme?
And the link goes... Stephen King, Richard Bachman, The Running Man movie, Gladiators, American Gladiators, Gladiators UK, 2007 Gladiators, Oblivion, TNA Nick Aldis, WWE Nick Aldis.
It's all an intricate tapestry.
It is. Everything worked out perfectly. Yeah.
Well, did it also inspire ITV's The Chase?
I believe it did, James. Yes.
Fucking nice.
And it also, I believe the wrestler Matt Morgan was a gladiator as well.
Possibly, yeah.
If it wasn't for Stephen King, we wouldn't have had that. Remember when we were sitting watching TNA and he turned up and he was wearing 2 watches, one on each wrist? and we laughed about it for like an hour. We wouldn't have had that special moment if it wasn't for Stephen King. Erland van Lith Dynamo was a classically trained Helden baritone opera singer. So in his introduction, when Dynamo is singing an aria from the Marriage of Figaro, it is actually him doing it. He died the same year the movie was released. It was his final movie, as well as that of Richard Dawson.
That's pretty cool about the singing, that he's actually singing that.
Yeah. I read that earlier, yeah.
Would you like another one or two?
Yeah, keep going.
I'll give you another one. 4 actors from the Predator film franchise appear in this film. Arnie, Jesse Ventura, Sven-Ole Thorson, who played Arnold's stunt double.
Don't say the last one. Actually, go on, just say it.
While Maria Conchita Alonso appears in Predator 2.
Yeah, she's the girl from Predator 2, isn't she?
Yeah. The footage of the attacking helicopters is from King Kong 1976. They bought the footage off them.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Fucking
I didn't know that.
I haven't read it here, but I already knew this one, so I'll tell you. This was released the same year as Predator, but they pushed this film back to the end of the year, to November, I think it was.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want a double release with Arnie, because they thought it'd be a bit oversaturated and whatever.
Yeah.
And that actually led to this film getting way less views and losing. Yeah. I don't think it lost money, but it didn't get much money, as they expected. I would say I preferred this film as a kid over Predator. This was like one of those films for me as a kid. Now maybe not, but
I can't say I preferred this as a kid. I've always preferred Predator, and now that I'm older, I watch him now, and it's clear Predator is just the superior film. I'm not saying this film's bad, but this is the worst of the 4 that we mentioned earlier. You got Terminator, which is like the best film ever. You got Predator and Total Recall, which is just 2 like absolute classics, and then this is a distant 4th. But I'm not saying this is bad, but like compared to those 3 films, then
I actually always preferred Predator 2 over Predator.
They're 2 completely different films. Predator 2 is just insane.
Yeah, but I love Predator 2. It's part of the Hawaiian Shirt universe.
Oh shit, yeah, it is. We'll have to cover the Hawaiian Shirt universe as a series.
We'll have to explain it. Yeah, we'll have to explain it. And that is shit trivia of the week.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'll play the jingle again.
Cheers.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
James, have you had enough time to get the Wikipedia page open?
Yeah. It's still loaded. No, I have. I have.
Give us some films that were released in 1987.
Okay, so we've done this year. I think we've done this year quite a few times. So we've got The Lost Boys.
Oh, right, okay. No, we've done this year before. Should we just leave it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
What I was going to do when I was going to talk about this when I was talking about the recast, I was going to suggest it, but I forgot to mention it to you beforehand. I was going to suggest picking a director for it and maybe explaining about a little bit about what you would do with this film.
Yeah.
So, because you haven't prepared, because I just told you, I'll tell you mine.
Go on.
So, I would have picked Charlie Brooker to direct mine.
Yeah.
And I would have basically made it like a Black Mirror episode, like one of those extended, really cinematic Black Mirror episodes. And it would have been very much about like the government and and TVs and all that shit.
I think we'll just get into final thoughts while we're here then. So yeah, I think the script it's a bit let down with that sort of, it's almost like it wants to tell a message and give you about how, the perils of TV and don't believe what you see and all that, but it's just not as clever as it wants to be. It is quite funny, but it's not as funny as RoboCop. The Colonel Starship Troopers is not quite as on the nose as those. It just doesn't go deep enough, I don't think. And it's sidelined by this whole fucking the Resistance plot. If you'd just kept it as like Richards as an escaped convict and had him in the Running Man and have him destroy the Running Man, have him work to destroy the Running Man from within the show, then that would have been better than having like, oh yeah, at the end the rebels storm the building.
That would have taken way more thought though, so they probably were just like, fuck it.
I think they just wanted an Arnie film to just make some money.
Do you reckon, right, when I was watching it last night, the rebel group reminded me a lot, I know it came before it, but they reminded me a lot of the rebels from Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Remember that rebel group in that?
Yeah.
And I think Demolition Man was inspired by this film.
Yeah.
Especially the Dennis Leary leading rebel group who eat rats and stuff,
Rat burger.
I can't really remember much of Demolition Man the film, but I remember the fucking game and it was sick. Remember that?
I don't remember.
Who wants to give you their final thoughts then?
James, how about you? Because this is the first watch for you, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So when I watched it last night, I was very amused, but I was kind of like, I don't think it's very good in the sense of like, I don't know. I was just like, I probably will never watch this again. No.
Really?
But like after like talking about it with you two and stuff like that, I was like, oh, actually, yeah, it was a lot. Like I picked up a lot more like funny things, and it is a lot funnier than I was thinking. But I don't think it has, like, for me anyway. I'm not sure if it's just because I grew up with these films and not The Running Man. It doesn't have the comedy that I like in terms of like Starship Troopers. I like the RoboCop stuff. I think it's kind of like a bootleg version of those two. I think.
I see. Understand what you mean.
It was okay to watch, but like I'm not gonna probably never watch it again. I won't show Izzy this. So yeah, no, but it was it's good, a good film for this podcast, in my opinion.
What would you rate it out of 5?
Out of 5,
10. Or 10?
For me, like a 2 out of 5.
Paul?
So this is the first time I've watched this film since probably the late 90s, I'd say. I did watch it loads as a kid, and having a fragile little mind at the time, this was like a really crazy film to me, and I loved the characters in it and all that. But as a grown-up, I don't think it holds up as well as I remembered before I watched it yesterday. I was really excited to watch it. I was like, this is going to fucking rule. And some parts of it do. I love the cheesiness. I love the 80s font. It was quite ahead of its time with like the deepfake stuff. I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would watch it again, but not for a while. I think it would be a good film to watch if we had like a night out or something, and the day after we were just hungover, whack The Running Man on, and we'd just watch it and laugh at it together. But it's for what it is, a cheesy 80s action film. My rating out of 10 for it would be about an 8. I think there are better ones, but I think it's still high. But as a film in general, it's a good 5 out of 10 for me. So it's middle ground. Yeah. But I do, no matter what, whether I watch it again in another 10 years and hate it, or I watch it again next year and love it even more, it'll still always have a place in my heart as probably one of the first action films I ever saw. So I do like it, and I would recommend it to people who love cheesy 80s stuff. Definitely.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm sort of with you. Yeah, it's it doesn't hold up as well as I watched it when I was a kid, and my memories of it built it up more than in my mind than how good it actually is. I do love the Stalker stuff because that's just like the kind of stuff you play with your action figures when you're younger. Just you create all these characters, and that's the really cool part. There's a lot of fluff around the film towards the end, and bits at the beginning I think you could have really chopped up and you could have made it a smoother ride. Yeah, it's definitely one of the weakest Arnie films that there is. You know, I still think like...
No, whoa. It's better than Commando, it's better than Twins.
It's better than Commando, but it's not better than Last
Action
Action
Hero. Any of the
Hero.
Conan films. Yeah, that's underrated though. It's better than any of the Conan films. It's better than End of Days. It's better than Eraser.
But it's not as good as the Big Four. Well, it's one of the Big Four, but it's the worst of the Big Four. So it's not Terminator, it's not Predator, it's not Total Recall. It's the worst of those, I think.
Yeah.
Let's not say I hate
I'd say it's middle for
it's
middle for Arnie films, but this is your opinion, so I will respect it.
That's not to say I hate it.
Like this.
I do enjoy it, but yeah, I could go a while without watching this now. I give it a 3 because I will recommend it to people to watch. Because if you're watching the good ones and you enjoy Arnie films, then yeah, maybe stick this on. You might find something from it. I do every now and then. And I'm sure I'll build the nostalgia up in my head again in a couple of years' time, and I'll stick it on and I'll think, yeah, it's pretty good. But like sitting down and like
it's entertaining.
Sitting down with a pen and like making notes and like reviewing it and dissecting pieces of it, I did find a lot of its flaws. So yeah, that's that. So that's The Running Man in the books. That's our last episode of Dealer's Choice for a while. Thank you guys for sitting through this. I think we've had a great run of episodes with Henry, Hollow Man, and The Running Man. It's been good to do something
fun.
new.
Yeah.
So
what's next? Because we don't even know.
So we will be tackling our next film series. Next episode, we are going to be tackling the big one, the King of Horror, the King of the Horror series. We're going to be watching, we're going to be doing the entire series, but we'll be starting with the first film, which is Friday the 13th from 1980.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So I am so excited to watch these films because we grew up with them and they're fucking awesome. Awesomely bad, but yeah.
Hells, yeah. Nah. All
especially Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah,
that's one of my favourites out of those films.
I'm actually so buzzing to watch that one again because in my head, what I think it is and what it is actually going to be. Yeah,
okay,
sweet.
Right. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time when we watch 1980s Friday the 13th. So goodbye and good night.
Au revoir.
Goodbye.